Hey, friend, and welcome back to another episode of Talk Insta To Me. So, today we are diving into something that has been sitting on my chest for a while now, and it's just time that I say it out loud. There is a piece of Instagram growth advice that gets shared constantly, and on the surface, it may sound smart, it may sound strategic, it may sound like a good idea, but the truth is that I think it's one of the worst things you can do if you actually want to grow on Instagram. As you know, it is my mission to help you grow on Instagram without any fluff, any hacks, or any tricks, and to help you with sustainable long-term growth. And that's exactly why this particular Instagram growth advice is such terrible advice. And I know you're thinking now, okay, Eve, tell me already, what is this bad advice? Tell me, tell me, tell me. So let's dive straight in. You probably heard it before. Study what other people in your niche are doing. Check what kind of reels are going viral, look at their hooks, look at their video, look at their caption, then use it, apply it to your own niche and make it your own. Now, I'm not saying that this advice is intentionally harmful. I mean, the Instagram coaches who post that advice, they mean well, but the truth is that when you break it down, it's just a fancier way of saying, copy what's working for someone else. And I have a big problem with that. Because if your goal is to grow authentically, to build an audience that connects with you, an audience that connects with you as a person, if you want to sell offers that are aligned with your genius and to actually build a brand on Instagram that stands out, then copying what others are doing is not going to get you there. At best, it makes you look like a second-rate version of someone else. And at worst, it completely disconnects you with your own voice and your own creativity. So in today's episode, I'm breaking down the 5 big reasons why just follow what works for others advice is not only bad, it's probably one of the things that is keeping you stuck right now. It's keeping you invisible. And maybe, and this is the worst of all, it's keeping you full of self-doubt. So are you ready? Let's dive into reason number 1. So the first reason why I think this is such bad advice is because this kind of advice encourages copying. It doesn't encourage creativity. Now, people won't say that they're copying. They'll say things like, I'm just modeling what works. I'm taking inspiration and putting my own spin to it. But let's be real. If you are constantly dissecting someone else's content, their hook, their topic, their angle, then you're not creating from your own ideas. You are recreating theirs. And I really want you to think about this. If they are already doing it, and if they are doing it well, then why would someone follow you for the same thing? That's the problem with this kind of model what works advice. It just turns into mimicking, and mimicking someone else doesn't stand out. It just makes you blend in. If your best friend gets married, would you just copy someone else's dinner speech? No, you wouldn't. You would make it unique to them, unique to you, unique to your relationship. Now, this works the same with you and your perfect fit follower. Now, quick disclaimer, because I know someone's going to come for me with this. Trends are different. Jumping on a trend that everyone else is doing, whether it's a trending audio or a specific format or a popular visual style, that's not the same as just copying someone's strategy. Trends are meant to be repeated. In fact, they are actually designed to be replicated and to be given your own spin. I think jumping on trends every now and then is actually a great idea because they make your content more relatable, they increase your visibility, and they also give you a chance to play, connect, and potentially maybe even reach new audiences. But that is not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about trends. What we are talking about is this idea that you should go and scroll your competition's feed, find their highest performing posts, note down the hook and the formats and everything else, and then make it your own. Except most of the time, it's not your own. It's theirs, just with your branding on it. And trust me, your audience can feel that. They might not know exactly what it is, but something will feel off because it's not you. It's a remix of someone else's voice. If you want to grow with the right audience, then your perfect fit followers, the ones who connect with your content and with your energy, then you need to build from your own voice. Copying might get you seen, but it won't help you get trusted, and it definitely won't get you paid. Okay, let's move on to reason number 2 why this advice is the worst. Because it kills your originality, and your originality is the very thing that grows your account. When you are constantly looking outward, when you're constantly studying what others are doing, watching what content blew up for them, reverse engineering their hook and their angle, then you are not making space for your own ideas to come through. You're not giving your own brain the chance to lead. And that's dangerous because your brain That's where the magic lives. Think of it like this. It's kind of like everyone trying to sing an Adele song. Love Adele. Like you can match the lyrics, you can even hit the notes, but no matter how hard you try, you're never going to sound like Adele because it's not about the song. It's about her and her unique voice, her energy, her presence. That's what makes it powerful. That's what makes it resonate. So the same goes for you and your content. You can copy someone else's hook, someone else's caption, someone else's format, but if it's not coming from your voice, it won't connect the same way because people don't just want the message, they want the messenger to be real as well. And this is honestly why so many creators are stuck. They think, well, I'm not getting results, but they are, so I should be doing what they are doing. And that mindset is the same one that chases tips and tricks and quick hacks. Those tactics might work for a second until they don't, because there's no strategy behind them. There's no understanding of why they work. It's like someone handing you a fish and saying, here, eat this, but they never teach you how to catch that fish yourself. So the second something changes, the second the market shifts or the trend dies or the hook stops working, the algorithm changes, you're stuck again. And then you have to start all over again. What I teach is different. I don't give you a fish. I teach you how to catch the fish every time in any season with your own tools, because Instagram growth isn't about doing what worked for someone else. No, it's about knowing what works for you and, very importantly, why. When you get to that level of clarity and confidence, you don't have to chase what others are doing. Instead, you become the one who leads. So reason number 3 of why this is terrible growth advice is what works for them might not work for you. And that's not shade, it's pure facts. Because one of the biggest myths floating around on Instagram is this idea that if someone goes viral for someone else, it should work for you too. Same hook, same angle, same format, just change the words and done, right? Wrong. Because people forget that we're not all talking to the same audience. We're not all selling the same offers. And we're not all in the same season of our business, of our Instagram growth journey. Their content might be working because of their brand tone, because of their niche, or of their voice, or even the relationship that they have already built with their audience. So when you take their strategy and then try to force it into your business, it doesn't land. It's like borrowing someone else's outfit for a big event. It might look great on them and it might even technically fit you, but it's not your style. It doesn't feel like you. And deep down, you know it. You might even get compliments, but you won't feel confident. And that's the energy that your content carries when you're just copying someone else instead of creating your own. Because what's the point of attracting followers who don't actually connect with what you do? Instagram growth isn't about volume, it's about alignment. And if you are building based on someone else's formula, then you're not building for your actual people. You are building for a crowd that will never connect with you. So yes, what worked for them may look shiny, but it's not your blueprint. It's not your strategy. Okay, let's move on to reason number 4 and talk about what all this comparison and all this studying others really does, because it's not just about the strategy anymore. It starts to mess with your mindset hard. Because when you are constantly watching what others are doing, especially people who are already way further ahead than you, then you don't just take in their content, you start comparing everything about yourself to them. Their voice, their delivery, their views, their engagement, their growth, their confidence. And that comparison can be devastating for your own confidence. They are already writing their chapter 10, but you are still writing chapter 1. And that's of course okay. But because you keep watching someone who is 10 steps ahead of you, you start to feel insecure. You start feeling inadequate. You start feeling behind and you start questioning if your content is even worth posting. That's how imposter syndrome creeps in. And it's not because you're not good enough, but it's because you're constantly measuring yourself against a version of success that was never really meant to be your benchmark. And the worst part of this is that you don't even see their full picture. You have no idea how long they have been doing this, how many takes it took to record that reel, or how much support they have behind the scenes. You are comparing your behind the scenes to their highlight reel, and then you are wondering why you are feeling shit. So I want you to hear the following loud and clear. If you stay stuck in comparison, this will impact your confidence, which will then shine through in your content. No one creates great content from a place of, I'm not good enough. And no one grows consistently on Instagram when their self-trust is being destroyed every time they open the app. So if you have been watching, scrolling, analyzing, and then, feeling creatively blocked or self-conscious or stuck, it's not you, but it's the input that you are consuming. So this brings me to our last segment, to our last reason, and this one is really a personal one. You have to stay in your own lane. And I say that as someone who didn't for a little while. There was a time I followed so many other Instagram coaches, not because I needed their content, but because I wanted to support them. I know how hard they work. I love community and I really wanted to just cheer them on. But you know what started happening? Even, without meaning to, I found myself picking up their language, their style, their phrasing, their tone, their ideas, even. Not because I didn't have my own ideas, but because when you're constantly exposed to someone else's voice, it just starts to seep in. I really had to regroup and check myself because I don't want to sound like everyone else in the industry. I don't need to. I have my own brain. I have my own strategy. I have my own brilliance. And so do you. This is where so many business owners and creators and entrepreneurs lose their power. You start out strong, unique, full of ideas, and then suddenly you're scrolling too much, consuming too much, and your content just starts to sound like everyone else. It's not because you don't know what you're doing, but it's because you lost yourself along the way. So here is the truth. It's okay to mute. It's okay to unfollow. I personally unfollowed a handful of people and muted almost everyone else I'm following because you can also support people quietly while fiercely protecting your own creative voice. Your audience doesn't need a remix of what's already out there. They need you, the original OG version. And you can't be original if your creative energy is crowded by other people's influences. So let me leave you with this today. You don't grow on Instagram by doing what everyone else in your niche is doing. You grow by being clear. You grow by being more real. You grow by being the version of you that your perfect fit follower has been searching for. And that's never going to come from copying someone else's strategy. It comes from knowing your own. Real, sustainable, authority building growth comes from staying in your lane, mastering your own message, and showing up with confidence. So if you have been stuck in the scroll, second guessing your ideas, doubting your creativity, this is your sign to stop watching and to start leading. Mute whoever you want to, unfollow with love, and then protect your originality like it's everything, because it is. And if you don't know how to build a strategy that actually works for you, you can always count on me because I'm not here to give you a fish. I am here to teach you how to catch your own fish anytime, anywhere, no matter what Instagram throws at you. You got this. You just need to stop looking around and start looking in. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.